Hey there everyone, Witch Hazel again. I am in catch-up mode with all of my videos. It takes probably much longer than it should for me to get them all put together and posted. So while I am waiting on some other videos to post, I promised a video on my Winternights incense. So here it is. Here is my little bottle of incense. I only made just a small batch because it was a new recipe, a tester, so I didn't want to mix up a lot of stuff and then have it not work out. I said I was going to title this Incensed, about incense, and there's a reason for that. Before I tell you what my recipe was, I want to say I have been having a terrible time trying to learn how to make incense. Now, every book you will find has recipes for incense, and it's very simple. Just mix this, that, and the other, and there you go, incense. It's wonderful. Yeah, well, not so much, I have found. The problem is the different parts and pieces to incense. Usually the books say mix, for example, rosemary, lavender, sage, all of these plant materials. And you put them together, and yes, they smell wonderful, but you put that on charcoal and it just smells like something's burning. It does not smell like a beautiful incense. So the next thing I found after that was, well, you have to use a good base, a resin usually, or some sort of a gum. So frankincense, I had frankincense, I tried that. I mixed that in with my herbs, with my plant materials, and that smelled nice too. Put that on the incense burner, it smells like frankincense and burning stuff. So it still did not work out. However, through that process, I did make some very lovely powders, incense powders that I've used for other things. So I have a nice house blessing one. I have a money powder that just smells great. So that does work for creating very nice smelling powders. But again, it didn't help for incense. What I have been trying to do lately is incorporate more essential oils. Basically, the essential oils plus the resin or whatever the base is kind of mask the burning of the plant materials. The resin or other base material provides something that allows the incense to burn slower than it would if you're just putting plant materials onto the charcoal. And then the essential oils provide the scent, which unfortunately is not well provided by the herbs. Now, I'm not going to say that in general, because there are some herbs you can put straight on the charcoal and it does smell not bad. It smells okay. Rose petals are one, lavender, rosemary. Each of these individually put on the coal does not smell bad. But it just was not working for me when I added in multiple things. So that is my complaint about making incense. And for any of you who make incense, if you use essential oils, or if you have some other trick or tip for me on how to get better quality out of the incenses that I make, I would love to hear it. I really would. But so far I've been experimenting with the essential oils, and it's almost working. I said, this is my Winternights incense. It makes a wonderful smoldering incense. I put it into a oil burner and light a tea light underneath, and it does smell nice. I put it onto the charcoal. The result was mixed. It almost smelled good, but then it went a little bit into the burning again, so I'm still experimenting with that. But what I used for this now I'll give you my recipe. I basically wanted to use all of the same ingredients that I used for my spirit bottle. And the difference being that I wanted more of a holiday focus for the incense. So I wanted it to smell more like the holidays. So as my base, and I used, just to be simple, I used equal parts of everything, about a half a teaspoon. I used as my base dragon's blood resin, and this one, it's kind of old, but I absolutely adore it. I don't know if you can see, it's listed Drachenblut. I actually bought this on a trip to Austria to visit my grandparents, and there is this itty bitty little hole-in-the-wall shop. It's not even technically a metaphysical shop, I don't think. It has some herbs and incense, it has textiles from like India, Nepal, things like that, and then it has natural products and jewelry. So I bought this there, and I have been hoarding it because I love it. It is this beautiful deep red, gorgeous color, and that's hard to find. I haven't seen something so beautiful in my local shops. But I used this as a base. I wanted to try something that was not frankincense, because frankincense does have a pretty strong scent on its own. Dragon's blood is more muted. It doesn't have a huge scent on its own, and because of the color and the blood reference, I thought it would be a very good addition for this time of year with the blood harvest and the ancestors, Halloween, Samhain, all of that. So that was my base. To that I added cinnamon, and yes, this came out of my kitchen cupboard. This was all I had at the time. I have since bought some lovely cinnamon chips from Mountain Rose Herbs, which I plan on using. I bought those because I had a recipe for a elixir tincture that I wanted to make for the holidays also, but I haven't made that yet. So cinnamon I added, and then I also added in cloves, again from my pantry. For some reason I only have the whole cloves, which, why I even bought these, I don't know, because I hate whole cloves. I always have to grind them up, trying to do it in a mortar and pestle, which is what I did. Mortar and pestle takes forever. And trying to do it in my coffee grinder also makes for clove coffee for a very long time. I really need to buy a separate grinder for herbs, but I did it with the mortar and pestle. Worked out fine since I only needed a small amount. It worked. So clove, rosemary, giant jar. Here's my rosemary, and I use rosemary for everything, absolutely everything. All of my hair care, everything, a lot of facial stuff. So rosemary is wonderful. I use it a lot. And again, the rosemary is one of the communing herbs for communing with the dead. And cinnamon and clove, the other two I mentioned, those are the holiday aspect that I wanted. This time of year, I think cinnamon and clove. So that's why I added that in. All right, and then rosemary, you'll notice from my spirit bottle, if you haven't seen that video yet, I added it to the spirit bottle and told you why. It's for communing with the dead. Then I added also lavender, a small amount, and lavender also is wonderful for everything. Lavender is for remembrance, and that's why I have it in my spirit bottle. That's also why I have it in my incense. Bay leaves. I added in bay leaves from the pantry. Crushed it all up. Again, these are for communication with the dead, and also they're very good for protection, and they just smell really nice. It adds into the whole aromatic effect of this time of year. I did not add in the yew that I mentioned for the spirit bottle because I did not have it, and the yew needles that I was able to get, they're not dried yet, so I haven't added them to anything yet. So those are all of the materials I added to my incense. And as said, small amounts, about half a teaspoon each, ground in the mortar and pestle, mixed it all together, and then I added essential oils. I added 10 drops of clove, 7 of rosemary, and then 5 of lavender. When I do this again, what I would like to do is go less on the rosemary. The rosemary is a nice scent. It has a very, almost like a eucalyptus type of a scent, or a camphor, that goes well with the holidays for all of us who spent childhoods covered in Vicks. And it makes for a very interesting scent. A friend of mine said it smelled very traditional. I don't know what he was thinking as traditional, but the rosemary is a bit strong. So next time I might either leave this out or adjust it down, because what I really wanted to focus on, again, for the holiday, was clove and cinnamon. But I had not yet purchased my cinnamon when I mixed this up, and I am in the process of, as I use up my essential oils, I'm replacing them with Young Living oils, which are expensive, but I have my reasons for really liking these oils, which I may talk about later, but many people on YouTube have already mentioned. So that is what I added to my incense, and it came out actually very well. I'm very happy with how the incense turned out. It smells wonderful. It's good as a smoldering incense for a light kind of permeating scent, and it almost works also on the charcoal. So I'm pretty happy. Again, I'm still experimenting with the essential oils, so if any of you have info on that for me, that would be greatly appreciated. Review of the recipe, again, if anyone's interested. Equal parts, I did half a teaspoon dragon's blood, cinnamon, clove, rosemary, bay leaf, and lavender. Essential oils, 10 drops clove, 7 drops rosemary, 5 drops lavender. And there you have it. That is my video on my holiday incense, and I can't wait to use it on winter nights. So thank you very much for joining me, and see you soon. Bye.